equation that R effective, we got one equation. What is that equation? We got 1 by 2 RD plus 1 minus alpha into R. This is the equation we got last class. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that we will find out, now we'll draw the torque speed characteristics using this value of R. So when we are inserting a new value of R, I hope you remember how the graph will change. Okay, so that one we will draw now. Okay, so we'll draw the torque speed characteristics. Okay, we'll draw the torque speed characteristics now. So for this value of R, so what exactly we did in this here, we just we are just changing the resistance of the rotor, nothing else. Okay, but that rotor resistance is not a constant value, it is a function of alpha. You see R effective you have seen there in the first, in the equation which I have written, it's a function of alpha. Okay, so now we'll take this as omega, it is speed where it is torque. Okay, then you will get the graph something like this. This is one graph for one value of R alpha. So now we'll draw more here. So three graphs I have drawn here. Just see this now. This graph, okay, this graph. So you see here. So this is for alpha 1, this is for alpha 2, this is for alpha 3. It's very simple thing to understand here that you go on increase the value of alpha here. You go on increase the value of alpha. What do you find out here from this equation? If alpha increases, the R effective will decrease. Just see this, because you take the value of alpha from 0 to 1. So you increase the value of alpha, then this difference will decrease. So the total resistance will decrease. So this is the logic here. Or you decrease the value of alpha. If you decrease the value of alpha, then R effective will increase. Okay. So what you will understand here is that you see here now. So what is the relationship between alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 now? I will write like this: alpha 1 greater than alpha 2 greater than alpha 3. We can write like this. Okay, because you know very well that the graph shift right side. Okay, so this one. Okay, these are the points where the speed is 0. It means these are starting torques. These are the starting torque. We'll take it as TST1, this is TST2, this is TST3. Okay, so these are the points where the speed is 0. It means starting torques. You see starting torques increase when I increase the value of alpha. When I increase the value of alpha, okay, so I think this is the reverse of that. Just check whether it is correct, because you see when you draw the graph for the speed and torque, you'll find out, yeah, this is speed here, so speed is 0 here somewhere. So when the speed is 0, whatever the torque is the starting torque, that is during starting. So this has less, so this has higher, this has higher. Okay, so higher resistance is there for this. So how do you get the higher resistance here? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's correct. Correct. So alpha 3 is lesser here. So if alpha 3 is lesser, this is lesser. If alpha 3 is lesser here, then R effective is more. Yeah. So R effective and alpha has inverse relationship. Okay, that's correct. So this equation is correct. So this you know already that you recall the torque speed characteristics, that these characteristics will shift right side. Of course, here what we have taken is that we have taken the speed on y-axis, okay, whereas the torque on x-axis. Earlier, how did we draw the graph of this torque speed characteristic of induction motor? We took speed on x-axis, whereas torque on y-axis. Then we get different, but you can understand here. It's not a big thing to understand a graph here. Okay, so this is about this. Okay, static rotor resistance. So how we got this? It's a static control, that is using the semiconductor devices. Okay, we are controlling the effective resistance of the rotor. Okay, that's it. So now we'll draw the block diagram here, closed loop control of that. The entire picture closed loop control will draw now. Okay, then you give the supply to the stator. You give the supply to the stator. Then the rotor, you recall what was the circuit? So you have a rectifier there, just recall that. So now what I will do is, now instead of drawing the entire rectifier circuit, I will draw this box so that people can easily understand this thing, that it's a diode rectifier. So the supply for this diode rectifier you are getting from this point. From the rotor you are getting the supply to the diode rectifier. Then after that what you have? You have a LD, okay, which makes almost this ID constant. Okay, then after that you have a resistor. Then after that you have a BJT. Okay, this was the circuit diagram. This was the circuit diagram. So okay, now you see here now. Now we will see the closed loop, in the sense we will discuss about how do you give the base current here. You have to give the base current here. How do you give the base current? So who will decide the amount of base current here? So this is you require a closed path now. So what is this closed path? Is that I will draw the closed path now. Coupled here, there is a speed sensor here, which senses the speed of the induction motor. Then, so this is the actual speed. You compare the actual speed with the reference speed. Something like this. You set the speed yourself. Then, as per the error, you have the speed controller. Then you have the current limiter. You need to limit the current here. Okay. Then based on that you will get the value of ID. Okay, so based on the error you will get the value of ID. And now this ID, okay, this ID you will compare with actual current. Somewhere you sense the ID. Where do you sense the ID? You can sense the ID from here. You can sense the ID here. So now you see here now So the actual ID you are sensing from here, okay, because ID is here. So actual ID you sense here. So plus minus, then you will get some error. Okay, you have some error. Okay, then you will send it to current controller here. Whenever there is an error, you need controller here to make a response. Then after that, this one go to the base drive. Okay, now here comes our base drive. So base drive in the sense the circuit which is used to drive the base of the BJT. That's it. So this is the closed loop path. Now you see here, first you set some speed. You will set some speed here. This is omega m star. Okay, then actual speed you will sense using a current sensor. Actual speed you will sense using a current sensor, sorry, speed sensor. Then that speed and this reference speed both will be compared. Now some error will be there. If there is some error, this controller will act. Okay, then this controller will send a signal to the current limiter. Now the current limiter will just decide based upon the error. You will have this IR reference, ID reference. Okay, then actual ID you will compare with it. Actual ID you will compare with it. Okay, then if there is an error, then based on the error it goes to the current controller, then it changes the base current. So now I hope you know this, that how long you turn on the BJT, so that will be decided by this current controller, how long you turn. So how long you turn on that, based upon that only you will get the value of alpha. You just recall this alpha. Okay, so here based upon, yeah, in another words we can say, this will decide alpha. This will decide alpha. How it decides alpha? Because the turn on time of the BJT. Okay, so turn on time of the BJT, based upon that you will have the effective resistance. So who will decide this turn on time of BJT? So base drive. And how you get the base drive? Current controller. Then how you get that? That's from the current here. Current command is there. So then that has a relationship with the speed. Okay, so then it will generate like this. So this is the closed loop. Okay, it's a closed loop control. This entire thing is closed loop control. Okay, okay, then now we'll solve a numerical problem now. So the 100-volt, 50 hertz, 6 pole, star connected, wound rotor motor has the following parameters. RS, all dash is equal 1.2 ohm, stator, rotor, turns ratio is 3. The motor is controlled by static external resistance is chosen. That the breakdown torque is produced. at standstill for a duty ratio of 0. Calculate the value of value of calculate the ratio of the value of external resistance. External resistance. Next, how should duty ratio be varied with speed so that the motor accelerates at maximum torque. Now this is the question. Okay, so just see what is this question actual. It says star connected. It's a star connected wound rotor induction motor, first of all. Okay. Now it has some data he has given. And he has given some values, the parameters for every motor. He has some parameters, equivalent circuit parameters that he has given. Okay. All the resistances and the reactances values he has given. And then what else he has given? Stator to rotor turns ratio also he has given. So now you see now, so stator to rotor turns ratio he has given. Now once again, what else he has said now? The motor is controlled by stator static rotor resistance control. The one which we have discussed right now, that's the method you are using. And second thing is that external resistance is chosen in such a way. Now I hope, why do you use this stator rotor resistance control? You will use this to change the resistance of the rotor. Okay. Now the external resistance is chosen in such a way that the breakdown torque is produced at standstill for a duty ratio of 0. So he has given one logic here, one statement which is necessary for solving the problem. So he said that he will select a external resistance in such a way that the breakdown torque, I hope the breakdown torque is nothing but the maximum torque, is produced at standstill. It is produced at standstill. Okay. For a duty ratio of 0. Calculate the value of external resistance. That's the first question. Now, how should duty ratio be varied with speed so that the motor accelerates at maximum torque? So first question is that you have to calculate the external resistance. That is the first question. Okay. Then what you do is that, what is the job you will do is that you will search for the equations. You will search for the equations which can give you which can give you the value of external resistance. So, and the data he has given that external resistance is chosen in such a way that the breakdown, okay, so the breakdown breakdown torque is produced at standstill. That's very important. Is at standstill for a duty ratio of 0. So he said the duty ratio has given 0. Okay. Then as per that, we have to proceed. So we'll see what are the things he has given. We'll see as per that. Okay. So okay. So now see, first of all, First of all, what is that you need to find out here? That is the question. Okay, so see this now here. It's better first we'll draw the equivalent circuit of the induction motor so that we may get some idea. R1, X1, R1, X1 he has given. That is RS, XS he has given. Then after that, you have so this is RR dash. That's also XR dash. Okay, RR dash, XR dash. And what else he said now? Recall the induction motor equivalent circuit. Okay. Uh, so we will shift this. Okay, XM he has given. Let me take the XM here. I will take XM here. Then what else you find out here? This is RR dash, XR dash. So what is left here now?
Sir,
Yes, please tell.
so here XM ante slip at maximum reactance at maximum slip అనేసా లేకపోతే
No, XM
magnetic?
is magnetizing reactance.
Okay,
XM
sir.
is magnetizing reactance. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then now we see how we will do this thing. Okay. Then okay. See this now. Yeah. Then after that you have some external resistance here. You are having some external resistance. Okay. Some are external. Okay. Of course you have this. Yeah. You should not forget this thing. Let me go back. There is one more resistance is there here. What is that resistance? R R dash into 1 minus S by S. Am I correct? You have this resistance also. You should not forget here. So I think this is the equivalent circuit. There is, I think we are, I think I'm sure with this. Okay, this is the equivalent circuit. You will find out. Then what you are doing now, you are adding some extra resistance here. R X external. Okay. Now we have to think of this now. We have to think of this. So what should be the value of this? That's the question he's asking. So first of all, this is the equivalent circuit. This is the source voltage Vs. So then Rs, Xs, Rr dash, Xr dash. Then after that you have this resistance. Okay, this is the resistance. Or in this the power is the actual gross mechanical power. So that resistance you will. So it's only now you are adding some extra resistance in the circuit now. Okay, you are adding some extra resistance here. Now he is asking what is the value of this value. So how do you find out this value? And now we have some equation for this. First of all you should know some equation here. What you should know here is that we find out one important observation that R external is equal. We have got some equation, so we'll go back to that equation. Where is that equation? Somewhere we got the equation in the very first step. Yeah, 1 by 2 RD plus 1 minus alpha into R. Okay, we'll take this one. 1 by 2 RD plus 1 minus alpha into R. Okay, so this is the effective resistance actually. So this is the thing. So this resistance, I will tell you one more thing. This is rotor resistance. You must not forget this thing that this is rotor resistance. Okay. Whereas you see now we are referring the entire circuit with respect to the stator. That's very important. We should not forget this thing that, okay, we are referring the entire circuit. Actual, what is the actual induction motor equivalent circuit? I would like to draw better so that you will understand some more better. So this is XM, this is RS, this is XS. And then what do you have here? This one. Then, yeah, this is stator side, whereas this is rotor side. Now here, what do you find out? R, RR, XR. Then you have some RR dash into 1 minus S by S. Okay, this resistance is there. Then you are adding some extra resistance here. Here you are adding some extra resistance. R external. This is the actual circuit. This is the actual transformer equivalent circuit. Of course, it is approximate only. Still, it is approximate. Now, what you are doing now? All these four elements you are converting towards the stator. Now you got here. So I will write this also. R external dash. See everything. RR dash, XR dash, RR dash into 1 minus S by S. Okay, R external dash. So everything we convert towards the stator side. We make that as some dash you will put on the values. Okay, RR dash, XR dash, like this we'll put. Okay, so this is also R external dash. Okay. Now, one thing you must understand now. This RR dash value, XR dash value directly he has given in the problem. I think so. You see now. Yeah. XR dash value, RR dash value he has given directly. XR dash value also he has given directly. So we don't need to do anything regarding this. Whereas coming to R external dash, I think there is a little bit thing you need to understand. What is that thing is that this formula which we got last class, that R external is equal to 1 by 2 into RD plus 1 minus alpha into R. This is the rotor resistance. This is referred to rotor, not referred to the stator. I hope you can understand this thing. Okay. If you recall the previous class, then you will understand that everything we are finding out. This is a per phase rotor resistance. If I am not wrong, this is per phase rotor resistance. Just recall that. Effective per phase rotor resistance. Okay. Now, but we need to find out R external dash. Then how do you do that? So how do you refer towards the stator side when you know the rotor side? How do you send towards the stator side? How do you find out the effective value? So very simple, that you have the turns ratio. Some turns ratio he has given in the problem. Somewhere he has given in the problem. Yeah, stator to rotor turns ratio. So in the sense, I will write here TS by TR. Stator rotor, that is equal to 3 he has given. So the stator to rotor resistance is 3. Then what is this value? R external dash. R external dash will be something like this. TS by TR whole square into R external. Yeah. This is the equation actually. So this is the value of, so now with this the circuit diagram is complete now. So I'm satisfied with this now. Now from this we'll go ahead what we can do here. So once we got this equation, then I think RD value we discussed last class. It is the resistance of the inductor. So that value he has not given in the problem right now. That value he has not given in the problem. Okay, so we will just take that as RD as 0 because he has not mentioned anything regarding the resistance of the inductor. So we'll consider that as 0. Then if you consider that as 0, then what is the value of this? It becomes now. So this is TS by TR whole square. It is 9 into 1 by 2 into, so 1 minus alpha into R. Yeah, this you will get. So we can further simplify this. So there is 4.5 into 1 minus alpha into R. So this is the external resistance. This is the external resistance we are finding out. Okay. Then what's next is now is that what is the other data he has given in the problem? We'll see now. What is the other data he has given in the problem? That how can we get this data using see here, one important data he has given in the problem. What is that? External resistance is chosen in such a way that the breakdown torque is produced at standstill for a duty ratio of 0. So he has given 3 statements here. One is breakdown torque is produced at standstill. So now what does that mean? Breakdown torque produced at standstill. So I hope you know standstill in the sense during at standstill what is the torque. So can I say this thing that starting torque is equal to maximum torque? I can say like this. How can I say like this? Because breakdown torque is nothing but maximum torque. It is produced at standstill. Now what is the torque that produced in standstill in a induction motor? That's called starting torque. So I can say this statement that starting torque is equal to maximum torque. I can say this thing. There is nothing wrong in this saying like this. Okay. And okay, so then we will bring the equations for the starting torque and the maximum torque. So then only this is the meaning of that. He said this thing that the external resistance is chosen in such a way that the breakdown torque is produced at standstill for a duty ratio of 0. So starting torque should be equal to okay, maximum torque. This is one statement we can get. Another statement is that we can have another statement. What is that statement is that so maximum torque, can we say like this that the maximum torque occurs at standstill? So it means the slip at which T max occurs is 1. I can say like this because standstill in the sense what is the slip at standstill? The slip at standstill is 1. Okay, everyone know this thing that slip at standstill is 1. So and he said that at standstill you are getting maximum torque. In the sense we can say this thing that the maximum torque occurs, okay, occurs when the slip is equal to 1. So this also another clue we got here. So from this statement we are getting two equations. One is starting torque is equal to maximum torque. Second one is the slip at which maximum torque occurs is 1 because it is he said it is standstill. So using this okay, we will go through some equations which we require to solve these things. Okay, so some equations we will see now. So how does that matter really to us? Okay, because so what is the maximum, what is the condition for S? If you recall, in case of the rotor side, I think we got this equation R2 by X2. I hope you remember this equation R2 by X2. At this value of S, we will get the maximum torque. This we know already. So then how do you do this thing? Okay, so what is the value of okay, then okay, then I will write one equation here, so which you have already got somewhere else. Okay, so we'll write here this equation. So this is when you refer towards the rotor, but when you take this equivalent circuit, okay, I'm writing this. Okay, you can cross check, please. You can cross check yourself that whether this equation is correct or not. Yes, T max is equal R dash by RS square plus XS plus XR dash whole square. Yeah, we will bring this equation now. Okay, now I want you to check whether this equation is correct or not. You need to check this equation. So how do you check this? Very simple. That see, find out T max from this. You recall the torque equation. There you differentiate the torque equation with respect to S. Then find out the condition. Then you will get this answer. So now I want you to please check this yourself. Okay, then only we can go ahead. Otherwise, we have to derive this equation. Then we have to do this thing. Okay, so we will use this equation now. Using this equation, we will solve. But one thing is there. One important thing is that it will not stop here. Why it will not stop here is that so we are adding some external resistance here. Plus RE. I will write. I would like to tell this thing plus RE. Why it is so? Because the rotor resistance is wherever you find out RR dash, you add some RE also. Then only it is justified because you are adding some external resistance to bring this. So what is this value now in this problem? He said it is 1 because it stands still. So then we can go ahead like this. Now please see here. So from this I think we may get some data regarding this thing. Okay, please see this. So rr dash, what is rr dash value here? In the problem he has given rr dash is equal to 0.45. I think he has given rr dash is 0.45. So we'll put 1 is equal to 0.45 plus re. We'll put re, re means r external. Okay, re is r external. So please don't forget this dash. There is a difference between r external and r external dash divided by square root of, what is rs value he has given in the problem? 0.6. So 0.6 whole square plus xs and xr dash. I think both he has given same. Let me check this. xs xr, yeah, 1.2. So 1.2 plus 1.2, so 2.4. 2.4 whole square. Okay, this is the equation you will get. So from this equation, okay, so what you will get r external. We can get r external here. Use the calculator. So 2.02, you are getting some approximate. So r external dash is equal to 2.0. This is r external dash we got. Now we'll do one thing. Somewhere we got equation for r external dash somewhere. Yeah, we got r external dash here. So how much we got r external dash? R external dash is equal to 4.5 into 1 minus alpha into r. So we'll put that. So 2.024 is equal to 4.5 into 1 minus alpha into r. I think this is the equation. Now what is alpha? Somewhere he has given the value of alpha in that. Yeah, duty ratio of 0. That's it. So alpha value is 0. So alpha value is 0 in the sense what? 4.5 into r is equal to 2.024. Then what is r value here? You will get 2. Divided by 4.5. So 0.449 as answer. So r value is 0.449. So this is the value of r you add in the, so in the external resistance, that is which circuit diagram? Let me show. Yeah, this is the r here. This is the r. This is r. So this r value we find out at the end. Okay, so that r value, how much we got? 0.4. So what is the logic here? What we did here is that we draw the equivalent circuit so that we will get some clarity. Then we have got this equation. This is the equation which we have. You can use this equation also. TST is equal to Tmax also. Then also you will get the data. Then also you will get some equations you will get which is useful to you. So then that's it. Okay, and then we got previous. We have got another equation. That equation we got from the very first equation. Which equation? This one. R effective is equal to 1 by 2 RD plus 1 minus alpha into R. So using that equation. So two equations we got. So using the two equations, two unknowns are there, R external dash and R. So both the unknowns we find out. So this R external dash we got here. And what is the actual value of R? We find out 0.449. Okay. And then he said another question is there in this. What is another question is that? How should duty ratio be varied with speed so that the motor accelerates at maximum torque? Okay, so he said that he is asking what is the duty ratio relationship with the speed. What is the relationship between speed and the duty ratio? So that you can do all these things. You can accelerate the motor at maximum torque. In the sense, you want to continue this. What you want to continue here? The maximum torque will be produced always at standstill. That's what he said in the statement. You see carefully that How should duty ratio be varied with speed so that motor accelerates at maximum torque? Motor accelerates at maximum torque in the sense, what does that mean? It means that motor has to start at maximum torque. That's the meaning of this statement. So motor has to start at maximum torque. So if the motor has to start at the maximum torque, then what should be the relationship between duty ratio and the speed? Okay. So now how do you do this thing is that, yeah, we'll do one thing. So duty ratio and speed, we have to find out this relationship. For which condition? The motor accelerates at maximum torque. For this condition, we have to find out. So motor accelerates at maximum torque in the sense, we will use this equation as it is. This equation we will use as it is. So we'll see now. So what is the answer we got there? We got R external dash. What is this value we got? We got the value of this. Somewhere we got the value of this. Okay. 4.5 into 1 minus alpha into R. 4.5 into 1 minus alpha into R. Now R value just now we find out, that is, so we'll substitute this here, R value, and then into 4.5. 2.024. So 2.024 into 1 minus alpha. This is R external we got. Of course, in this problem, we have taken duty ratio is also 0. So directly we got the answer. R external is equal to 2.024. But now we will take this is a variable one. We have to find out the relationship between this duty ratio and the speed. And now one more thing also we know very well. What is that thing is that? So we got this equation here. We got this equation here. How we got this equation here? This equation we got by comparing the slip. So then we'll do the same thing once again. So we'll bring this equation here. We'll bring this equation here. Yeah. We'll bring this equation. Now we'll substitute here. What we substitute here is that, first of all, what is slip? So slip has an equation. What is that equation? Ns minus Nr by Ns. Ns minus Nr by Ns. So I think we can find out Ns. How can we find out Ns here? From the data we have to find out Ns. 6 poles he has given. Frequency, so 120 F by P. 120 into 50. Okay, so we find out here. Ns is equal to 120 F by P. So 120 into 50 by 6. So 1000. So we got 1000. So this value is 1000. 1000 minus Nr by 1000. Okay. And then that is equal. Now what is this equation? We'll recall this equation. What is this equation? RR dash. RR dash value he has given how much in the problem? Please see this. 0.45. 0.45 plus R external dash divided by yeah, once again we'll do this thing. 0.6 square plus 2.4 whole square. So then we will take this equation here. Then we will find out what is R external from this. What is R external from this? R external dash. What is R external dash? It's just mathematics. Nothing else is there here. We're just doing this. Okay. Then once again we will solve this. By 0.36 over square root. Okay. Then square root. Then we'll send this side. Yes, we'll send this side. So 2.4 you will get here. Yeah, we'll do one thing now. What is R external from this? R external from this, so you got 2.473. So the square root of this you got 2.473. Okay, we'll take this. Then R external is equal to 1000 minus Nr by 1000 into 2. What is that? 2.474. 474 minus 0.45. We can take like this. We can take like this. So then what we do here is that What is R external dash? We got one equation for the R external dash. We'll bring this equation here. Okay, that is 2.024 into 1 minus alpha is equal to 1000 minus NR by 1000 into 2.474 minus 0.45. Yes. So we did nothing here. The same equations which we have used, but we will not take alpha value as 0, and at the same time we will not take S value as 1. So we will use the general equations of alpha and the general equation for the S max, S value. Then we have, so now you see in this equation, in this equation, if we see this equation, it has two variables, alpha and NR. So NR is the speed, alpha is the duty ratio. This is what he is asking us. This is what he is asking us to find out. What is the question? That how should duty ratio be varied with speed? So what is the relationship between duty ratio alpha and speed NR, so that motor accelerates maximum torque? Okay. So this is the equation. This is the relationship. If you want, we can simplify this further. So how do we simplify this further? Okay. So by 024. We got this one. So 1 minus alpha is equal 1.22. 1000 minus NR 1.22 into 10 power minus 3 minus 0.45 divided by 0 2.24. We got this. So we will send this alpha this side, and then we'll bring this 1 plus it becomes so 0.45 divided by 2.024 plus 1, because 1 is there here. So 1.22, 1.223. So we get 1.223. So 1.223, 223. So 1.223 is this side minus 1000 minus NR into 1.22 into 10 power minus 3 is equal to alpha. No problem. You can simplify this further. You yourself can simplify this further. Then you may get some answer here. Okay. So I think please use this, simplify this. Okay. There's nothing new is here. There is nothing new is here. Just use this, simplify this, then you will get the value of alpha. So even if this equation is sufficient, even this equation is also sufficient to tell the relationship between alpha and NR. You want to simplify this mass, then you simplify further, then you will get the same thing you will get here, the relationship between alpha and NR.